Hi everyone. Again you are welcome to Science Sparkle. Science Sparkle presents CBSE class 10th chemistry, metals and non-metals. Here, I am going to say you most of the students they are in confused how to write the physical properties and chemically properties of metals. So especially what are the chemical properties of metals and how to write the chemical properties of metals. Today I am going to say you about the physical properties of metals and non-metals and chemical properties of metals. Now, physical properties of metals. What are the physical properties of metals? First, metals. What are the metals? The elements, those who are showing their metallic properties are called metals. So what are the metallic properties? So we have to know about the physical properties and chemical properties. But some metals, they have some exceptional cases also. Whenever we will go to discuss about the physical properties of metals. Now, physical properties of metals, generally metals are solids, but we have some exceptional cases like mercury is in a liquid state, and also two metallic elements like cesium and gallium, they are in a solid state, but whenever they are kept in our hand, so by getting the body temperature they are changed to liquid state, so they are very soft. Okay, now metals are hard, but exceptional case like lithium, potassium, sodium, and like our gallium, cesium, mercury. Okay. Next, metals have metallic luster. That means they are shining. If you will polish them, they will shine. Next, metals are malleable. What are malleable? They can be beaten into thin sheets. Next, metals are ductile. What are ductile? Ductile means they can be drawn into wires. So our best ductile nature of metallic element is gold. Then metals have high melting points, but exceptional case is our gallium and cesium. Just I told you, whenever they are kept in our hand, so by getting the body temperature, they are melting. So that they have a least melting point. Okay. Metals have low melting point also. They melt in the palm of our hand, I told you, like gallium and cesium. Okay. Next, metals have high boiling point. So you have known generally metals are very hard, strong, so that to change it to liquid state we have to heat more, and after changing to liquid state they have to change to gaseous state. So if it is not impossible, it is very difficult, so that they have high melting point. Next properties, metals are good conductor of heat. Best conductor are silver and copper, but poor conductors are lead and mercury. But more, if you will think about exceptional case, our best conductor is graphite, which is a non-metal. And next, metals are good conductor of electricity, heat and electricity. So best conductor of metal is our silver and copper. Next, metals are sonorous. What is sonorous? They produce sound whenever they are falling down, or if you beat them, they will produce the sound. Next, physical properties of non-metals. Generally, this is the reverse, reciprocal or opposite of metals. Non-metals may be solid, or may be liquid, or may be gases. solids like carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, they are solid. Like liquid non-metal is bromine, and gases you have known. So like oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, so nitrogen, hydrogen, they are the gaseous elements. Okay. Next, non-metals are soft, but exceptional case is diamond. That is allotropes of carbon. It is the hardest substance. Then non-metals do not have luster. Like metals, they are not showing the luster property, but exceptional case is there. Iodine is showing the luster property. Then non-metals are not malleable, and non-metals are not ductile. Non-metals which are solids and liquids have low melting points. Generally non-metals have low melting points, and non-metals which are solids and liquids have low boiling point also. Non-metals are bad conductors of heat. Non-metals are bad conductors of electricity also. But I have told you, but one exceptional case is that it's graphite, which is a good conductor of heat and electricity. Next, non-metals are not sonorous. Now we'll discuss about the chemical properties of metals. What are the chemical properties of metals? Chemical properties of a metal means how do they react with the oxygen, water or water vapor or air, or with acids or bases, or with the other metallic elements or other compounds. How do they react? First we will go through reaction with oxygen. Metal reacts with the oxygen to form metallic oxides. When copper is heated, it combines with the oxygen to form copper oxide. So we can write copper plus oxygen produces copper oxide. When aluminium is heated, it combines with the aluminium, it combines with the oxygen to form aluminium oxide. So aluminium plus oxygen produces aluminium oxide. So if you balance, we can write 4Al plus 3O2 produces 2Al2O3. Some metal oxides are basic oxides because they react with the water to form bases. So generally metallic oxides are basic. So for example, you can take sodium, reacts with the oxygen, produces sodium oxide. Again, if sodium oxide reacts with the water, will produce sodium hydroxide. You know sodium hydroxide is a base. Same way, potassium reacts with the oxygen, produces potassium oxide, and potassium oxide when it reacts with the water will produce potassium hydroxide, and potassium hydroxide is a base. So metal oxides show basic nature, but some metallic oxides are showing both metallic basic properties and also acidic properties, which are called amphoteric oxides. Your best example I can say aluminum oxide, which react with the acid and also react with the base. When aluminum oxide reacts with the acid, it produces salt and water, because we have known when acid reacts with the base, will produce salt and water from a neutralization reaction. Again, if you will take aluminum oxide as acid, it will react with the base, will produce salt and water also. For example, Al2O3, aluminum oxide, when it is basic, reacts with the hydrochloric acid as a acid, will produce aluminum chloride as the salt and water. So here aluminum oxide is acting as the base. But again, aluminum oxide, if you take it as acid, it reacts with the base like sodium hydroxide, will produce sodium aluminate and water. Sodium aluminate is the salt and water. So here aluminum oxide is acting as the amphoteric oxides. Next, chemical reaction of a metal. the reactivity of different metals with oxygen is also different. Like when metal like potassium and sodium react vigorously with oxygen and catch fire if kept in open. You all have known that always potassium and sodium are kept in kerosene or paraffin, because paraffin means they have no affinity towards a reaction. Okay, if they will be kept open, they are burning. If magnesium is heated, it burns with a bright flame. But if iron is heated, it will glow brightly. You know that whenever iron is heated, so the red color of iron it is appeared. But if copper is heated, it does not burn but forms a black coating of copper oxide. But silver and gold does not react with the oxygen even at a high temperature also. That's why silver, gold and platinum, they are called noble metals, because they do not react with any acid, base, water or oxygen or air, anything. Okay. And some metals like magnesium, aluminum, zinc, lead form an oxide layer over it which prevents further oxidation. So that's why they are called self-protecting metals. Now, third chemical properties of metals, like how do they react with the water. When metal react with water to form metal oxides or metal hydroxides and hydrogen gas is released. Example, sodium reacts with water, produces sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. When sodium is already kept in kerosene or paraffin, when you will bring it will be cut in pieces and one piece you will add in water, it will float on the surface of water and will be dissolved, and simultaneously hydrogen gas will be produced or released and sodium hydroxide will be produced. Potassium also same way, potassium reacts with water, produces potassium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Calcium reacts with water, produces calcium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Aluminum reacts with water, produces aluminum oxide and hydrogen gas. You know about iron. Iron reacts with water, produces in presence of atmosphere and also water vapor, it produces the rust, you know, that is ferric oxide, and hydrogen gas also is released. But the reactivity of different metals with water is different. How? Sodium and potassium react violently with the cold water to form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas is released. And here sodium and potassium they catch fire spontaneously, violently. But calcium reacts less violently with water to form calcium hydroxide and water and does not catch fire. But magnesium reacts with only hot water to form magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas is produced. Metals like aluminium, iron and zinc reacts only with steam and produces metal oxides and hydrogen gas released. But metal like lead, copper, silver and gold, they do not react with the water. These are the reaction of metals with the water. Now, next chemical properties of metals, how do they react with the acids? Metal reacts with the dilute acids to form salt and hydrogen. So, like magnesium reacts with the hydrochloric acid, reacts with, produces magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas is released. Aluminum reacts with the hydrochloric acid, produces aluminum chloride and hydrogen gas is released. Zinc reacts with the hydrochloric acid, produces zinc chloride and hydrogen. You can take zinc reacts with the sulfuric acid also. Zinc reacts with the sulfuric acid, produces zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas is released. Iron reacts with the hydrochloric acid, produces iron chloride and hydrogen gas is released. The reactivity varies from metal to metal. For the above metals, the decreasing order of reactivity is magnesium is more reactive than aluminum, is more reactive than zinc, is more reactive than iron. Copper, silver and gold, they do not react with the dilute hydrochloric acid. And hydrogen gas is not developed when metal react with the nitric acid. It is very important. So whenever any metal reacts with the nitric acid, they do not release hydrogen gas because it is a strong oxidizing agent. But we have the exceptional case like magnesium. When magnesium reacts with the nitric acid, it can produce hydrogen gas. And copper reacts with the nitric acid, so it produces copper nitrate, water and nitrogen dioxide. In place of producing hydrogen gas, it produces nitrogen dioxide gas and water. Now, reaction of metals with the metal salt solutions. Another chemical property of metals. How do they react with the other metallic salt solutions? Here we have to go through the metal reactivity series. Okay. First, a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from its salt solution and produces the new metallic salt solution. Okay, like magnesium displaces copper from copper sulfate solution because magnesium is more reactive than copper, so copper is displaced by magnesium and produces magnesium sulfate and copper is released. Zinc displaces copper from copper sulfate solution and zinc, because zinc is more reactive than copper, so zinc reacts with the copper sulfate, produces zinc sulfate and copper is released. Zinc sulfate and copper both are produced. Iron displaces copper from copper sulfate solution, like iron plus copper sulfate produces iron sulfate and copper. Just you see the diagram here. Magnesium powder is added with the copper sulfate solution. The copper sulfate solution is blue in color, so magnesium ribbon is added to it. So magnesium reacts with the copper sulfate solution, produces magnesium sulfate. Here copper sulfate solution is blue in color, but magnesium sulfate is colorless. And you can see that the copper pieces are settled down in the test tube after few minutes. Okay. And for this reaction, I have told you we have to know about the reactivity series. So what is the reactivity series? The arrangement of metals in the increasing or decreasing order of their reactivity is called reactivity series. Here the reactivity series of metals are there, but here also in the middle hydrogen, which is a non-metal, is present here. From here we can say potassium is more reactive than sodium, is more reactive than calcium, is more reactive than magnesium, is more reactive than aluminum, and aluminum is more reactive than zinc, zinc is more reactive than iron, iron is more reactive than lead, lead is more reactive than hydrogen, which is a non-metal, and hydrogen is more reactive than copper, copper is metal. So copper is more reactive than mercury, mercury is more reactive than silver, silver is more reactive than gold. This is the reactivity series of metals. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I request you all, please like, subscribe and share Science Sparkle for next videos to watch first. Thank you.